I'm so sorry. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us and welcome to Open Infra Live. Open Infra Live is an interactive show sharing production case studies, open source demos, industry conversations, and the latest updates from the global open infrastructure community. This show is made possible through the support of our valued members, so thanks again to them. My name is Kristen Barrientos, and I will be your host for today's show. We are streaming live on YouTube and LinkedIn, and we will be sharing questions throughout the show, so feel free to drop them into the comment section, and we'll answer as many as we can. Some of the most popular episodes on Open Infra Live are the Large-Scale OpenStack Show, where operators of large-scale OpenStack deployments come and discuss operational challenges and solutions. Today, the Large-Scale OpenStack Show is back for an ops deep dive with Thailand's largest OpenStack cloud operator, NIPA Cloud. Joining today's discussion, we have Felix Huetner, Thierry Carrez, Arnaud Morin, and our NIPA Cloud guest, Dr. Chulya in Tech. To get it started, I'll hand it off to you, Thierry.
Thanks, Christine. I'm very happy to welcome NIPA Cloud to the Large Scale 6 show. It's always great to have perspectives from deployers of OpenStack all around the world. And I wanted to start off with, could you give us a quick introduction about yourself, your organization, and your OpenStack deployment?
Hi. Thank you for inviting us to this episode here. My name is Abhisak Chulya. I'm a CEO, and I'm with Tech Charnsilp. He's a Chief Innovation Officer of our NIPA Cloud here. Just give you a quick introduction. NIPA established in 1996. Now we have about 170 employees with 3 availability sites, and we have 24/7 NOC. As you can see, that we are partnered with Juniper and AMD, Epic, and next one, please. Next slide. Okay, here's our brief product. We have a public cloud. We call it NIPA Cloud Space, and we have a hybrid and edge cloud, which is we named the Sybase. The reason we call hybrid because our private cloud, this version, we can go between public and hybrid, and we can set it at any edge we want. And then the third product is about the object storage. Okay, next one, please. Okay, here's the topology of our cloud here. As you can see that we have the core site, which is our BKK is site number 1, and then known site is number 2, and then number 3. We're going to set it up by the first quarter of next year, which is site number 3. But the one on the edge is the KKN. This is the setting around Thailand. So we have 4 sites around Thailand. And what we have done is we putting the fabric networking on top of all this. So we have using the topology of a spine leaf, and we have about 400 gigabit per sec of the backbone. Okay. So with all this, the whole thing is our OpenStack and SEP storage, and we add on fabric networking on top of that.
That's a great introduction. Shows how central the network interconnect between your sites is important to your deployment. Could you give us a bit more details on like the components of OpenStack that you are using? Like I suspect you're using Nova and Neutron, but which other components have you been deploying for in your OpenStack deployment?
Okay,
we are using KVM as the hypervisor of Nova, and SEP storage for Cinder volume and object storage. And load balancer we are using as well with the Octavia backend. And the last one is the tungsten fabric. We are used instead of the Neutron. Yeah.
So Neutron, basically we use it as a proxy.
So your core component for networking is a tungsten fabric, right?
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You said in the previous slides you were building your network fabric on top of OpenStack.
You
Or
mean the billing in
No,
our portal?
No. I'm saying when I say on top, I mean a network is cover with the fabric networking. It just cover all the locations. That's what I meant by on top.
okay, but
So you, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
so your OpenStack is using this fabric that you have as a core network infrastructure in your data centers, right? It's something like that.
Yeah, we implement the new network. Okay, we use the VXLAN, BGP, VPN, right?
Yeah. When you search on the each side is the availability zone. When user deploy the application on each zone, they can connect the private network with our fabric networking.
Mhm.
And how is configured the physical equipment of your fabric? Is it done by OpenStack, or do you have any other external SDN controller or something like this?
Oh no. We have a two layer. The underlay layer networking. We are using the EVPN VXLAN for the leaf spine and peer the MP BGP between each side for do the underlay networking, and for the overlay networking we use tungsten fabric. The tungsten fabric can connect the router and share BGP route. Yeah.
Okay, so the physical equipments are already configured by your network team with eBGP and stuff like this, and OpenStack is running on top of this network infrastructure, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Okay.
And are you then running one large OpenStack across all these environments, or is it like individual OpenStacks? One large, okay.
Yeah, one large one cover.
It's only one region, right? So
Yes, correct.
I imagine the region is quite big. Are you willing to share numbers, or how many computes do you have, or stuff like this?
Next. Yeah, we have it. We prepared on the next question. You want to go back to, or you want me to talk about it now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We can mention about current scale of our OpenStack. Right now we have about 2,000 VM for the new one. Okay, just 1 year that we start, and we have about 40 compute nodes and 18 SEP nodes. Okay, and in this SEP node we have NVMe about 300 terabyte usage. Okay, and the spinning drive that we do for the object storage has a 2 petabyte usable.
Okay.
So on two sides. Okay, one on the BK one, and the other one on a non-taburi. So two sides, 1 petabyte for each side, a usable one.
So you said you were using Ceph as well for object storage, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not relying on Swift at all? Do you deploy Swift, or it's not part of your OpenStack?
No, we didn't use Swift because we don't want to maintain the storage with the Swift, because we are no experience with Swift when we are going to go to production.
Okay.
And can you share which versions you're? Go ahead, Felix.
You mentioned that this is the new environment, if I got that correctly. Is then there also an older OpenStack cluster that you're running in parallel?
No. Before, let me give you a history. We first run our first OpenStack, okay, and it's under Okada, and we use the Open vSwitch, right, OVN, right, and then at the time that's the old one, and we learn a lot from that one. I present those experience at the Vancouver already, and from that one we know that there's some problem with the first one. So this is NIPA Cloud Space, we call this one. This is the second one that we can deploy in a way that we can expand to many locations. Okay.
So does it mean the previous one is completely shut down now, or are you still managing it?
No, still use it.
Okay.
It's
So
still working okay, but there's some problem with the auto backup or some scaling when you scale it. If you scale beyond some number of VMs, then there's some problem happen. And then we didn't want to upgrade it, and we just want to rebuild a new one with a new fabric networking.
so the previous one is running OpenStack Okata, right?
Yeah.
Which version are you running on the new one?
Victoria and Yoga.
The
Okay.
current one,
The current
Yeah.
one.
we start with Victoria, and then we add some component of Yoga into it.
Okay. Do you plan to upgrade your previous Okata to the new architecture, or what's your strategy with your Okata region? Are you going to upgrade it, or maybe it's gonna die by itself because it's too old?
No. We usually we like to upgrade it. Every 2 years to the new release, a major upgrade. But the minor one and security fix, we're gonna do it every 3 months.
Yeah, like AMD Zenbreed vulnerability that show in few months ago. Our operation team need to upgrade the operating system and CPU microcode for their security. Yeah, this is for the minor security update.
Minor update, yes.
Minor.
But we need to do that. Okay, so we plan to upgrade this Victoria Yoga to the new one, Antelope. When was that? Next
Next year in quarter 2.
quarter
Yeah.
2, yeah.
Yeah, we need to simulate the production cluster to our staging cluster and test for the impact of our customer. Yeah, before we do that.
Mhm.
Do you already
And-
have your strategy? Sorry, Felix, go on.
If you then have such security things, what do you do to do maintenance on these hosts? Do you
Maintenance.
make them empty by live migration, or do you have alternative?
Yeah, on our maintenance, we need to live migration the VM in Compuno to another one. Yeah, and
Yeah.
upgrade it.
Yeah, we when we maintenance, we have to follow strictly because we have ISO and CSA star change management. Okay, so every time we're gonna do maintenance, we're gonna follow those standards. Just want to let you know first, and then the reason when you do those kind of maintenance and upgrade, you have to analyze the risk and impact on change over the review committee, and it may have impact on our SLA. So we got to do that. So we have to notify our customer as well. So all these things we gotta do some live migration. Once we got all this done, we do live migration, and then we do the maintenance. Yes.
So we got a question from the audience, and they ask, are you using Keystone Federation between OpenStack clusters?
No, we are not using Keystone Federation. Yeah,
So
we deploy the Keystone to on 3 side, the main side. Yeah.
Just the core side.
Yeah.
So you have two running Keystone, one for the Octavia regions and one for the Yoga and Victoria regions.
We have only one region.
Yeah, this is what you see on the topology that we showed before. It's all one region, but it's all availability zone. Is that 1? Is that 2? Is that 3?
So you have one AZ running Okata?
No.
No, so
this is a new one. This is a NIPA Cloud space. So it's one region, but with many availability zones. And the whole thing is all under Yoga.
okay.
Yoga. Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you share a little what your customers are using your cloud for? Is that something you know about, or is that something that basically it's customer workload and you don't have too much insight into that?
Which one is that?
Do
Can you repeat it?
Do you have like interesting or unexpected use cases from your customers? Do you know what your customers are running, are using the NIPA Cloud for?
Yeah, we have many use cases. When we implement Charnsilp Fabric, one thing that we get is that we have many locations, and each, no matter which location you're in, we have private network that link together, and that's kind of make it easier for them to deploy application on both sides, or as many sites as we have, and that's the beauty of it. So we not only doing that, but we now have a shared and dedicated core flavor, so the user can use on variety of application that's suitable for their needs. So if you want to scale, you can resize within that instant. So this is all self-service. That's the case. We have variety, really. Once we open up the horizon for them, you're going to see a lot of application coming in. The other one, the good use case is in Thailand. I don't know somewhere else, but a lot of first cloud migration from on-prem to cloud. Many send us the hard disk, to us, to our data center, and our engineers support them by converting to image VMDK to QCloud to run on OpenStack. Those are the use case that I think we have to our Thai customers.
Okay. So maybe just taking a step back at the history, you've said that your organization has been founded in 1996. I suspect you did not start with doing cloud. How did you get to choose OpenStack? Like, how did you discover it? Like, what led you to OpenStack? What's the history there?
Okay, that's a history I can explain easily. At the time, we built a data center in here in Thailand, and I think it's in 1996, 97, or something like that. And I think what we want to do at the time, we want to do the search engine, and we built it. But then later on, Google just come along, and we can't really fight with them because search engine for Google is pretty big at the time. So we have to draw back, and then we sit down and said, well, what can we do with our data center? And that's we know that we should jump on a cloud bandwagon. But how are you going to do that? How are you going to start that? And that's when I discovered OpenStack. So I went to the summit, so many times to understand OpenStack until we sure that, okay, this is the only one. We don't want to build from scratch. So OpenStack give us that opportunity to build a cloud infrastructure of your own. Okay, and not only that, we found that OpenStack has a huge community that could support us if we have some problem with that. So, but again, in order to make use of it, you gotta put some work done into this OpenStack, because it's not easy one; it's a complicated one. So everyone that will use this one, you gotta put some work into it, and as you can see now, that really not much choice out there. It's really a good cloud infrastructure that you can build to compete with hyperscaler, and in terms of private cloud, you can use it to compete with VMware. I think we have no question about that, even though at the beginning we don't know it, but I think now we can compete with them in both arena with OpenStack.
Nice.
A bit short history.
So you said you've been involved in OpenStack. You started in OpenStack from with which version? You said Okata previously, but maybe you started OpenStack with even another release before?
Yeah, we start with Newton version. Yeah,
We've done that.
in our staging lab, and we test and the last time we test run on the campaign อะไรนะ Docker campaign
Docker
ใช่ที่ตอนที่เรารัน
container.
ใช่
Okay. So we do a lot of testing at the time. The key, let me put this way. The key is that once you jump out all in one and then have the experience of running the whole thing, I think our first Okata version is really a good one that for our team to learn. Okay, even though it may not be perfect, but I think even now we can make good money out of the older version still. Okay, but it may not give you the SLA 99.99, the one that you like.
Okay. Any other questions on the history of NIPA Cloud? Felix, do you have any?
No, but I think it was the most interesting scenario to start from to go to OpenStack that we heard until now.
Yeah, it's always good to understand how you're getting to OpenStack and like one of the key reasons we started the project is to make sure that technology would be available all around the world for everyone, and so seeing it used in Thailand to solve your business use case is really great. I think we have a new question, Christine.
Yes. What deployment / lifecycle tools are you using? Example, Cola, Ansible, Bifrost, etc.
Okay, we are using Cola Ansible, and we do some customization for support the tungsten fabric. Yeah.
Okay. So you're using Cola Ansible now on your new cloud. Which tool were you using before?
We
On the old version, we use the OpenStack Ansible on our
OpenStack Ansible. So you're quite used to Ansible with all of this. Okay.
Right. And for the storage, we use SEP Ansible, right? For the Jewel.
Yeah.
For under the old one. But for the new one, we use Cola Ansible for Victoria and Yoga. And for SEP, we use SEP Ansible under Octopus. And for Tungsten Fabric, we use in-house development to deploy.
For what?
In-house development. For the Tungsten Fabric.
Okay, for the network. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Do you then have some additional tooling for, let's say, more operational tasks, like just that live migration topic you mentioned earlier? Is there some additional tooling you're using?
Yeah, we have it's just a script for do the live migration, and we are the monitoring tool for make sure that VM is not going down. Yeah. And actually we have a tool named is a metal as a service of Ubuntu. Yeah, we are used for the automate installation of
hardware.
Yeah.
Or hardware. Right. And Ansible just used for the script to automate software.
And we have another question from the audience. What kind of customizations that you need or that do you need to do for Cola Ansible?
It's just used for deploy the tungsten vRouter into the compute node. Yeah, that's it. Because the Cola Ansible does support to deploy the tungsten fabric, but our architecture need to deploy that. I think Cola Ansible is really, really good. Yeah, we try to stick to the Cola.
Does it mean you're relying also on Cola Docker images to deploy your infrastructure, or are you building your own images on your side?
We also make some change of OpenStack source code. So we need to build our own image, Cola.
So what's your process to maintain your downstream change? Have you forked every OpenStack repo inside your company, or how do you bring back your change or upstream change onto your into your cloud?
We don't want to make the chain of the source code, yeah, but sometimes we have to do that. We have to keep the update, keep track to the upstream, yeah, and we use the Cola is Cola configuration to patch our source code when they build.
So we have to keep track of that every time we
Yeah.
upgrade.
Yeah, that's the question behind how hard is it to keep track of this? Because I know by experience that it could be very painful to maintain downstream change, even if they are.
Yeah.
It's even bigger when the change are EV. And I imagine, for example, that you are deploying Tungsten Fabric, so the networking stack is completely different compared to what is usually deployed using Cola. I don't know how much code and how much work it is to maintain that, but if you have to bring back a patch from upstream, is it complex on your side to maintain or?
Yeah, but we have to upgrade on every 2 years. When we use the Git diff for the diff source code, the change from the Victoria version to the latest version, and we have to try to deploy on our staging. Because we use Cola Incident, it is a Docker image, right? We can use that image, that deployment on our staging and do that on our production. Yeah, it's complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have to try on stage.
Yeah, you have to try on staging and make sure everything is working fine. Then we deploy it on production.
Yeah, and our engineer need to know every option between the Cola incident from the Victoria version to the new version.
How do you manage testing your OpenStack on staging? Do you have a bunch of tests you're running there? Are you relying on upstream test factories like Tempest or stuff like this, or do you have custom tests made on in your company for this
Testing.
testing? Yeah.
Yeah, we have many staging cluster. We want to use the exactly same configuration of the production to on our staging and hardware also, but it is a small size. Yeah, actually our staging is about 2 rack.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we have about 4 cluster in there.
Do you then what's your feeling for actually testing these changes in the staging environment? How representative do you feel that to your production environment? I know at least for us that you can test things in a test and staging environment, but production is always not 100% the same.
Okay. We have some testing tool like we deploy the testing VM in our staging and it runs some benchmarking tool like a FIO on a VM and send the metric back to our monitoring system. Yeah, and we have the hardware like same in the production. Yeah, we test it before make change to the production.
We have another question from the audience. I'm curious about the way you handle cluster configuration on the admin side. Is it done via CLI by operators, or do you have automation in place?
First of all, in the admin side, we connect the keystone to the LDAP server LDAP. Yeah, and we write some the customize the policy of a Newton Nova Cinder software. Yeah, to classify our support team. Yeah, we use Horizon and CLI also, and we have some script, and we also have some like a admin portal to manage that. Yeah.
Maybe few words about monitoring. You said something about you have custom monitoring tools on your side. How do you monitor your OpenStack deployment? You said you have something to monitor the fact that instances are running well, for example.
We use Zabbix to centralize the monitoring. Yeah, and we monitor many layers like hardware monitoring, OS monitoring, hypervisor monitoring, and OpenStack API. And the latest one that we implement on the few months ago is about monitor virtual machine health, the VM health by trying to call the QEMU ping from hypervisor to VM. Yeah, because the last time that our production outage is about the self storage, it make our system stuck in about 5 minutes. Yeah, and we didn't know which VM need to reboot. Yeah, that is why I need to implement this monitor.
Yeah, talk about the outage. We have some incident on the outage as well, and it's about the self storage. As you know that our cloud, we use the volume. Okay, and when you build a VM, the compute node only provides CPU and RAM, right? And then it attach volume from the self storage. So if there's some problem with self storage, that means we have some problem with the VM as well. So what happened with the self storage at the time is we have a hardware problem with the self storage. I think the root cause is a NIC card that's not stable, and it because it's an OCP 2.0 form factor that causes a problem with the 25 gig NIC card. Okay, it create a heat more than it should be, and the heat sink also in the hardware, instead of open up to the airflow, it just close to the airflow by flipping to the other side. I think it's just a problem with the manufacturer that they did not test it good enough. So we found out it's a problem because the heat is so high. So we fix it by changing from OCP to PCI card. Okay, and so everything else is coming back, but it's just strictly the hardware problem that we found with the outage of our cloud.
So the whole Ceph cluster stopped, right? Because of this.
Ceph cluster is weird because network fact. The problem is the network card, and the network card is fapping. So our Ceph system doesn't know which OSD is alive or not. Yeah,
okay.
That's the problem.
You mentioned earlier that. Sorry. Go ahead.
It took a while. We learned from this. When once a problem happened, you gotta find out what happened, and luckily that we have two sides, and one side doesn't happen, and you know why it doesn't happen? Because that side you don't use much. Okay, the side that you use a lot, heavy usage, and it's create a lot of heat. So those are the things that we learn, and then so we now replace the NIC card of OCP 2.0 with the PCI card. Yeah. Go ahead.
That also seems like one of the things you can't easily find with testing it out, because it's very strange. You mentioned earlier that you upgraded from Victoria to Yoga. Did you have some specific procedure for that? Did you use some specific tooling besides Collar Ansible for that, or some specific testing?
The first reason is Victoria is
Victoria, there's no support anymore, right?
Yeah.
So some the component will not be supported. So we gotta move to the Yoga, right?
Yeah, and the
Antelope, right? The newer one.
The Antelope Nova have a feature like a power saving feature
on the CPU, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a power saving, and that's what we like about it, and that's why I think it's so give us motivation to upgrade to that Antelope.
And for the doing of the upgrades, you basically rely on Collar Ansible.
Basically, rely on what?
On Collar Ansible to do the upgrade procedure.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Chris.
No, you're good. Sorry. We have another question. One of the pain points that Ashish finds in Collar Ansible was to manage the inventory and to reflect in its correct state. How do you manage failed hardware or one in maintenance mode in inventory?
Is this a complex? In our system, we didn't use one Collar Ansible. We define the two layers of our cluster. The first one is a global infrastructure. The global infrastructure use one Collar configuration and manage it. And we split some controller and compute node. My team call is the edge deployment. It is another Collar Ansible configuration. When we have more site, we will duplicate the Collar Ansible configuration for each site. Yeah, I'm not sure is this the question.
Does that answer the question? I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
So this is the large scale SIG. So we like to discuss scaling issues, and it's interesting because it's the first time we have, I would say, like a deployment that is earlier in the scaling process, where you don't have, tens of regions and tens of thousands of nodes. So I'm actually interested in learning more about the scaling issues that you have at that stage. My first question would be: Are you growing your deployment steadily, or is it mostly a fixed size? Are you planning to continue to grow your deployment, and how fast does it grow?
I mentioned earlier that just this year alone we go to how many VMs in 1 year? 2,000 VM. Okay, when we started, now I think the main infrastructure, the core one, already set up. All we have to do now is adding compute node, adding storage node, right? And we use leaf and spine, so we can expand it. Just add leaf, add spine, and then you can just grow. I think this is the beauty of scaling that we have, and same as self-storage, right? You just scale by adding a storage node. So I think it's really we're ready for the scaling, we don't know yet how the Thai market will accept this one, but I think it's showing a good sign that we are in the early stage. Again, we you understand that we have to compete with the hyperscaler. Okay. We have to compete with Huawei. We have to compete with Tencent that come into Thailand market. But with the local cloud, we are the only local cloud here that can provide similar kind of infrastructure and stability to our customer here. And when it's local and when we expand to the edge with our tungsten fabric. I think all these things make it viable for us to grow, to expand.
It feels like your specific the fact that you have multiple of those regions. Well, like at least this network presence all around at a relatively reasonable scale is very it's a big difference between the big cloud providers that will just have one big data center in I guess a single place. I think we have a question from the audience.
Yes. Brahim mentioned or said that you mentioned that because of some of the scaling issues, you decided to have a new OpenStack install. Can you tell us a little bit more about what kind of issues?
Okay. So you talk about the old one, right? Okay. The old cluster, we found that there's a network L2 broadcast issue that make underlay network loop on. Okay. So I'll take your add more.
So on the general OpenStack deployment is just assign the VLAN to storage, to tenant, to controller, right? And when we scale, that VLAN need to expand to another LAN. Yeah. When our engineer make something wrong, is make network loop in cluster, is bring our cluster down. That is the problem that we got before. And for the OpenStack, we got problem about when we do the snapshot in compute node, it take more memory while snapshot. In Thailand, our customer also need to do like auto backup in every day. Yeah, so it means every VM in each hypervisor compute node, it need to take snapshot at night. Yeah, that is make memory full and VMs go down. So that is why we move to volume. Yeah, when it takes snapshot, it make from the safe side.
We do have another question. What are the bottlenecks that you find specifically in networking side, especially on L3 agent side?
It is not about L3 agent, but it is about how to scale the compute node and storage, right? We have compute node and self storage, and how to scale the underlay network when compute need to talk to storage. Yeah, that is the main problem. L3 agent is very good, but the reason why we use the tungsten fabric, because the tungsten fabric is use a BGP protocol. So we can put some BGP from underlay. Sorry, we can put some BGP protocol from overlay to the router, and router can specific can control the rules which direction of network can go. Like we have two already zone, right? And we also have two floating network. Yeah, so VM can go into the internet directly on each side.
Does Tungsten Fabric have such a L3 agent at all, or is it just then distributed as BGP information everywhere?
It's like on the Google Cloud network is all L3 agent. Yeah, everything in Tungsten Fabric is routing. It's no broadcast.
I guess that helps with a bunch of issues we see sometimes in other deployments. When you scaled up your environment now from the start to the computers you have now, did you see any kind of issues because of scaling? or did it all work extremely smoothly?
It's pretty smooth, right? I think it's so far. Once we implement this, we move a lot of things up to the router, right? So instead of doing on the software side, everything move up to the router, make it a lot easier. And I don't see any problem right now, right? In terms of scaling, like I said, we can scale up as many as we want, and we can pop up availability zone as we like. I think one of the products that I mentioned earlier is about Sybase. Sybase is the edge cloud that we can set up at on-prem of any of our customer, and they can use the portal that we have in terms of choosing the way you want. We can put logo in there, and they can pop up into our public cloud if they have some resource that they need more, and then some feature that in our public cloud that is available, they can also come in and use as well. So I think make it more flexible for us, for our customer as well.
Is your edge cloud popping in your whole infrastructure just like a new AZ, or is it a different OpenStack deployment?
It's like a new AC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you're in a good spot from the scaling perspective, because you're not at a stage where we usually encounter a lot of scaling issues. Like Arnaud or Felix, maybe you can comment on, I would say, like we usually encounter scaling limits, within a given region once we start reaching 500,000 compute nodes, but they should be safe scaling up to that until what would be your expert advice on on when they should expect the next scaling issues?
Usually in my experience, it mostly depends on the Neutron side. But as you are using different Neutron drivers than we do, so it could be very different on your side. It really depends on how the networking stack could scale on your data center. But I think you are good to go with at least 500 computes. That's a target I think you could reach very easily.
We hope so. 500
Yeah.
computers.
And then starts the fun of the OpenStack journey.
Yeah, we learn a lot from the old cluster, and I think we encounter some problem that we need to solve it. But the whole thing is come from learning on the real stuff, on the real situation. You have to take the risk, in terms of moving to the area or the something that people don't try before. I think moving up to tungsten, I think give us the opportunity to do that. But at the time when we start, just like when we start OpenStack, we don't know, what's going to happen if we want to use it as a public cloud, whether it's suitable for that. Okay, so we take a lot of risk, but now we take another risk on tungsten fabrics, and it pays. I think it pays out pays out nicely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I know Nova is very AZ aware. I imagine Neutron with your tungsten fabric is AZ aware as well. What about other services like Glance, Cinder? Are you deploying them? One Cinder per AZ, or is it global Cinder for the whole region? Cinder, Glance for volume and images.
Cinder.
Yeah.
Cinder.
Oh, Cinder. Yeah. Okay.
We deploy the Cinder volume for each region because
each asset, right?
Yeah.
Each asset, yeah.
Each AC.
AC, yeah.
Because the Cinder volume need to do some conversion. Yeah, we want to do the conversion on the east side.
Okay, so you have one safe cluster per AZ.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And what about images for Glance?
Grant, we are using object storage as a backend, and object storage on the self storage on the two side. Yeah.
So it's the same. You duplicate the images on the two AZ.
Two AC replication.
Yeah. But the API itself, Glance API, is above AZ's, right?
Grant API have three interface. The first one, when user connect to the public, is like they can connect to AC, and when the sender volume need to connect to Grant, it config to connect directly on their AC. Yeah. Because when user try to upload the volume to image or convert image to volume, it need to be on that side. Yeah, I don't want to transfer across side.
Okay.
Or what we have done here, we also document it, and it's on our website. I mean, not a website, a portal site, right? Yeah. So, but we wrote in Thai yet. We have not translated yet. Okay. And I also talk about it at the Vancouver, right?
No.
Oh, in Berlin, yeah. I spoke about this thing at Berlin as well, with a lot of diagram on that one too. But we will translate our document, in English.
Yeah.
So besides the issue you had with the OCP cards, did you have any other interesting outage you want to talk about?
The DDoS attack. Yeah,
Oh,
when
okay.
we got some
yeah.
attack, DDoS.
Yeah, we got DDoS attack, and then what happened to vRouter? You said?
vRouter memory is full, and
Full.
and all network connectivity of that compute node is go down.
Yeah, and I mean, even the one that did not get attacked, right? Also have some effect on that one. How you solve it?
เราเวิร์กกับพาร์ทเนอร์อยู่ตอนนี้ดีดอน
Oh, okay. All right. So what happened is that we are working with our partner like Imperva, right? Radware, Cloudflare, to do all these DDoS attack, IP, basically DDoS IP protected. So you need to work on those providers. But there's some issue with that. We do a lot of research on DDoS attack here, and I think with all these Imperva and Radware and Cloudflare, we need to have them to be local as well. Otherwise, if you're going to use always on, all the traffic has to go out of the country, and that creates a lot of latency, and we don't want that. Okay, so most of the DDoS attack come from outside. Okay. So these are the things that we're trying to work with the provider here, that they usually come from abroad. What we need them to be is just have the local presence. So if you're gonna resolve something, do it here. But if it attack from outside, you can use your node around the world and then protect us, and then send only the good traffic back to Thailand.
Okay. We're close to the end of the show, but I wanted to ask one more question, because you overall feel like very happy with your OpenStack deployment, and usually on the show we have large scale deployers that are suffering from some personal pain point, and so I was wondering if you had one specific pain point with OpenStack that you would like to share, some specific issue that you always encounter and wish weren't there, or some other personal issue that you have with OpenStack.
Okay, the pain point. Okay, I got one. Is about the Octavia load balancer. Yeah, when we deploy the multiple AC, right, the Amphora instance need to be on the each AC. Yeah, and in Octavia it have the health monitoring. Yeah, the health monitoring cannot specific which AC can monitor. So the problem is when the network between AC go down, every Amphora VM will be fail over. Yeah, that is our problem.
So you end up in a failover loop because of a network issue between your AZ, something like that.
No. It's just a link down for the 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and the health monitor detect the VM down, the Amphora down.
Okay.
That's our problem.
Also, you know, we talk about the old cluster, right? We have some problem with the old cluster.
Yeah.
That you use OpenAnsible, right? So you found a problem with LXC.
Yeah. So we cannot simulate the exactly same from our production to staging for test, because LXC, when you deploy it, it's just a reinstall, apt install, yum install, of that. When we move to Docker container in the Cola Ansible, we can like a duplicate on the production to staging.
Yeah. So make life easier.
Yeah,
a lot easier.
It's a lot of easier.
Okay.
Okay, I think we may have time for one or two other questions before we wrap up, Christine.
Yeah, let me see. So somebody asked, how do you design a VPC network with a multi-zone model? Or I mean, one can subnet and one VPC be extended across multiple zones?
First of all, the underlay network of the compute node needs to be connect each other, right? And the second one is when we use tungsten fabric or neutron open vSwitch, they have overlay network like a VXLAN, right? In tungsten fabric is used the VXLAN MPLS over UDP. The private network can connect together. So you just need the underlay network before. Sorry.
So I think, yeah, the answer is because you have your fabric, then you are able to do that.
Yeah.
Yes. I know there's some question that if you don't use fabric, then maybe there's something that you have to work around it. That's going to be a little bit hard on it.
Well, we're almost out of time, and I wanted to thank all of our awesome speakers today. Thank you, Dr. Chulya and Tech, for joining us, and thank you, NIPA Cloud, for being an Open Infra Foundation Gold member. And a big thank you to our audience for asking a lot of great questions today during the show. And as a reminder, if you have an idea for a future episode, we want to hear from you. You can submit your ideas at ideas.openinfra.live, and maybe we'll see you on a future show. Thanks again to today's guest, and we'll see you on the next Open Infra Live. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all.
Thank
Bye.
you.